The Galactic Empire was a vast, powerful force, ruling over hundreds of star systems with unmatched strength and technology. To the Empire, Earth was nothing more than a small, insignificant planet lost on the edge of the galaxy, a forgotten rock with little value and even less technology. Imperial leaders often joked about Earth in their meetings, mocking the strange blue planet where humans lived. They sent scouts and probes to investigate, expecting an easy conquest. When the first Imperial scouts arrived in Earth's orbit, they saw a planet bustling with life but lacking the massive starships and advanced weapons they were used to in other worlds. They observed humans moving about with simple-looking guns, vehicles, and machines that seemed outdated by Imperial standards. The scouts reported back that Earth was primitive, with weak defenses and no threat to the Empire's overwhelming power. They laughed at the humans, calling them backwards and unprepared. The official reports described Earth as a Joka world, too small and too disorganized to fight back. The Empire's high command saw Earth as a simple target, ripe for quick domination and easy annexation. Yet deep on the planet below, things were very different. While the Empire laughed from above, humans on Earth were quietly preparing for what they knew was coming. They had heard the terrifying stories about the Empire's ruthless conquests, worlds wiped out or enslaved without mercy. But humans also knew something the Empire did not fully understand: the strength of their spirit, their creativity, and their ability to fight back in ways no enemy expected. Unlike the Empire's reliance on vast fleets and shiny technology, humans had learned to survive through adaptability and cunning. In cities, forests, and deserts, secret groups trained in guerrilla tactics, scientists worked tirelessly in hidden labs to develop weapons that could match the Empire's advanced machines, even if they looked crude by comparison. These weapons combined old and new technology, blending firearms with experimental energy, devices and clever traps. Every soldier, every citizen, prepared not just with guns but with determination and hope. They knew the Empire's greatest weakness was arrogance, the belief that anything less than the latest technology was useless. Humans planned to use that against them. When the Imperial scouts first arrived, they underestimated the humans' ability to unite and fight. They thought Earth's governments were weak and divided, but humans had a way of coming together when threatened. Quietly, without fanfare, they built networks of resistance, training civilians in the art of war and survival. The people of Earth did not believe in surrender. The scouts returned to the Empire with their reports, but those reports did not tell the whole story. The Empire's leaders prepared their massive warships, confident that conquering Earth would be like taking candy from a child. But as the fleet moved closer, the humans watched and waited. On Earth's surface, soldiers stood ready at hidden outposts. Civilians moved supplies quietly through underground tunnels, and scientists prepared weapons that could surprise even the most powerful enemy. In the stillness before the storm, a quiet tension filled the air. The Empire expected a quick victory, but Earth was ready to shatter their illusions. The humans' strength was not just in their weapons, but in their will to survive and fight for their home. The stage was set for a confrontation that no one could predict. What began as a joke from the Empire would soon become a battle where humanity's courage and ingenuity would ignite a resistance that shook the galaxy. The Empire did not yet know it, but Earth was no longer a forgotten rock. It was the spark that would challenge their power in ways they never imagined. As the Imperial ships took their positions in orbit, humans prepared to prove that strength was not only measured by machines or numbers, but by the fire burning in the hearts of those who refused to be conquered. The day the Imperial warships descended into Earth's orbit was unlike any other in human history. These massive vessels, shining with cold steel and glowing weapons, appeared like giants among the stars, casting huge shadows over cities and oceans below. The Empire expected little resistance, as swift, easy takeover were their advanced technology, and numbers would crush any human defense in hours, if not minutes. But the humans had other plans. From the moment the first landing pods touched Earth's surface, the initial contact between the invaders and the defenders became tense and unpredictable. The Empire soldiers, clad in heavy armor and armed with powerful energy rifles, stepped onto the soil, expecting to meet frightened, disorganized humans ready to surrender. Instead, they found something completely different. Earth's defenders fought back with a fierce, unyielding spirit, using tactics that surprised the invaders at every turn. The humans did not rely on giant war machines or flashy starships. Instead, they used guerrilla warfare, moving quickly and quietly through forests, cities, and mountains, striking with precision before disappearing into the shadows. Their weapons were a strange mix of old and new, conventional firearms that the Empire considered outdated, combined with makeshift energy devices and traps crafted from scavenged materials. These tactics confused the Imperial troops, who were trained for direct, overwhelming force. The humans' resourcefulness and deep knowledge of their own terrain gave them an unexpected edge. Small squads would ambush Imperial patrols in narrow canyons or dense urban ruins, disabling advanced machines with clever explosives or hacking their systems through improvised technology. Each human victory, no matter how small, fueled their confidence and hardened their resolve. The Empire's generals watched these developments with growing frustration. Reports from the battlefield painted a picture that did not fit their expectations. This primitive species, which they had dismissed as weak and disorganized, proved to be stubborn and surprisingly tough. They refused to surrender or flee. Instead, they fought fiercely for their homes, their families, and their freedom. The Imperial commanders tried to adjust their strategies, sending elite troops to key locations, hoping that overwhelming force would break the humans' will. But every attempt was met with unexpected resistance. The defenders adapted quickly, learning the patterns of the Empire's assaults and using their knowledge of the environment to set traps and counterattacks. The humans' ability to think and act unpredictably on the battlefield made them a difficult enemy to defeat. Battles were often chaotic and brutal, with neither side gaining clear advantage for long. Cities became battlegrounds, and forests turned into deadly mazes of ambushes and counterattacks. Civilian volunteers, trained in basic combat, joined the fight, turning every street and alleyway into a potential trap for Imperial forces. For the Empire's soldiers, this was a shock. They had expected to conquer with ease, but instead found themselves drawn into a grueling conflict that tested their skills and patience. Despite their advanced weapons and armor, they faced losses that they had not anticipated. The humans' determination and unbreakable spirit became clear with every encounter. The soldiers began to understand that this was not a simple enemy to defeat. The Empire's confidence began to waver. The High Command debated strategies, some calling for immediate withdrawal to regroup, while others demanded harsher measures and more reinforcements. But the humans' unconventional warfare continued to slow the Imperial advance. The defenders' ingenuity extended beyond the battlefield. Civilians in hidden bunkers worked to repair damaged technology, provide medical care, and gather intelligence. Communication networks spread warnings of incoming attacks and coordinated ambushes across regions. This unity made the resistance stronger and more organized than the Empire had believed possible. The tension grew as each new battle ended with uncertain results. The Empire's soldiers became wary of every shadow and every silence, knowing that behind the calm could be a hidden enemy waiting to strike. The humans used their fear of the unknown against them, vanishing into the environment as quickly as they appeared. Slowly but surely, the initial shock of human resistance turned into respect among some Imperial soldiers. They saw that Earth's defenders were not just fighting for survival, but for something deeper, determination that no machine could break. The battles continued, each one more intense than the last, with human forces refusing to give ground. Despite the Empire's superior numbers and firepower, as the first encounters unfolded, it became clear that Earth was no longer a joke to the Empire. It was a challenge, a fierce and unexpected one that would test the limits of both sides. The defenders of Earth knew that the fight had only just begun, but they also knew that their spirit was stronger than any weapon. The war for their planet would be hard, filled with sacrifice and struggle, but humanity had proven its will to survive. The Empire's invasion had met a force they had not expected, one that would not break or bow, no matter the cost. First encounter was the beginning of a story that would echo through the stars, a story of courage, hope, and the unyielding power of the human spirit. While the battles raged on Earth's surface, hidden war was being waged behind the scenes, where humanity revealed its most powerful secret, an arsenal unlike anything the Empire had expected. Far from the blazing fronts and shattered cities, deep underground and inside remote research facilities, scientists and engineers worked day and night, blending the old and new to create weapons that could turn the tide. These were not just simple guns or energy blasters. They were a combination of classic firearms, carefully crafted with precision and ruggedness, paired with improvised energy weapons that hummed with raw power. Many of these energy devices were experimental, developed in secret labs, shielded from prying eyes, using resources scavenged from wreckage and recycled technology. The result was a deadly, unpredictable mix that the Empire's scanners struggled to detect and analyze. Humans understood that the Empire's confidence stemmed from their belief in their own overwhelming technology. They knew that the enemy thought rigidly and relied heavily on large machines, organized battalions, and predictable tactics. Taking advantage of this arrogance, human forces began striking at weak points that the Empire's leaders had overlooked or deemed insignificant. Small, mobile squads equipped with advanced weapons struck swiftly, disabling key supply lines, communication towers, and critical machinery. These attacks were planned meticulously, using information gathered by intelligence agents embedded deep within the occupied zones. The Empire's forces found themselves fighting shadows and ghosts, unable to predict when or where the next blow would land. The human resistance was no longer just a collection of brave soldiers. It had become a well-coordinated, highly efficient force that exploited every vulnerability with ruthless precision. One of the most decisive moments came far from Earth. On the surface of the moon, where an Imperial battalion was stationed to oversee the invasion fleet and control communications. The Empire believed that their troops on the moon were safe, protected by their heavy armor and advanced technology. What they did not expect was the arrival of small, elite human squads who struck like lightning. These squads used guerrilla tactics perfected on Earth, combining stealth, speed, and the element of surprise. Using compact but powerful weapons designed for close-quarters combat, they infiltrated the battalion's defenses and disabled critical systems. With coordinated precision, they set explosives on vital equipment and intercepted communications, effectively crippling the Imperial forces without a large-scale battle. The lunar engagement sent shockwaves through the Empire's command structure. News of the human victory spread quickly, shaking the confidence of commanders who had assumed victory was assured. The battle showed the Empire that their enemies were not just stubborn but strategically brilliant. The invaders began to realize that every piece of technology, every formation they relied on, was vulnerable to the unpredictable and fearless. Humans. The success on the moon became a symbol of hope for the human resistance and a warning to the Empire. Earth and its people were not easily defeated. Back on Earth, the discovery of the experimental weapons and tactics boosted morale among the defenders. Civilians who once doubted their chances began to believe in the power of their secret arsenal. The knowledge that their scientists and engineers were developing tools that could stand toe-to-toe with the Empire's technology inspired courage and unity. Meanwhile, the Empire's leaders scrambled to counter these new threats. They poured resources into research, trying to understand and replicate the human weapons, but progress was slow. The Empire's rigid hierarchy made it difficult to adapt quickly, while humans continued to innovate rapidly. The battlefield became a testing ground for this deadly technological dance, each side trying to outthink and outgun the other. The conflict dragged on. The Empire's forces grew wary of every encounter. The humans no longer fought with desperation alone. They wielded weapons that could break through shields and disrupt their most advanced machines. The invaders learned to fear the unexpected. A small group armed with strange weapons could bring down an entire squadron. This fear sowed doubt and hesitation among the Empire's ranks, weakening their once unstoppable advance. Humanity's arsenal was not just a collection of tools, it was a symbol of their resilience, intelligence, and refusal to be beaten. It showed that strength did not only come from large fleets or overwhelming firepower, but from creativity, courage, and the willingness to fight for freedom. As the Empire adjusted its strategies, it became clear that the war was far from over. Earth's defenders had struck the first serious blow, the battle for the future of the planet hand. Perhaps the galaxy was only just beginning. The turning point on the moon was a message to all. Humanity was ready to fight, armed not only with weapons, but with a spirit that no empire could crush. As the conflict stretched on, the Galactic Empire grew increasingly desperate to crush the human resistance on Earth once and for all. Their commanders, unwilling to accept failure, unleashed their elite troops and the most advanced war machines ever developed. Massive armored vehicles, towering robotic walkers, and heavily armed assault squads were deployed, with the hope that overwhelming force would finally break the stubborn human defenders. These elite soldiers were equipped with the latest energy weapons, reinforced armor, and backed by precise orbital strikes designed to annihilate anything in their path. The Empire believed that sheer power and technology would be enough to turn the tide in their favor. However, the humans proved to be more than just survivors. They were quick learners and masters of adaptation. From the earliest clashes, they studied the Empire's new tactics and machines, observing their strengths and weaknesses with sharp eyes and sharp minds. Rather than retreating or surrendering, human forces changed their strategies rapidly, shifting between guerrilla warfare, sabotage, and direct assaults at unexpected times and places. Their tactics became unpredictable, forcing Imperial commanders to second-guess every move. The humans used the environment to their advantage, striking from hidden locations, using underground tunnels and ruins to evade detection, and employing clever traps to disable the Empire's most advanced war machines. They targeted supply lines, communication hubs, and command centers, disrupting the Empire's coordination and slowing their advance. Each battle became a test of wits and endurance, with humans fighting not just with weapons, but with clever plans and relentless determination. Despite their superior firepower, Imperial troops found themselves stretched thin, unable to keep up with the fast and flexible human fighters. The Empire's massive machines, powerful as they were, struggled in the rough terrain and narrow urban streets, where small squads of humans could strike quickly and vanish before counterattacks arrived. This resilience and adaptability frustrated the Empire's commanders, forcing them to rethink their strategies repeatedly. Earth became more than just a battlefield, it became a symbol of resistance. Across the galaxy, news of the humans' defiance spread like wildfire. Other planets and systems that had long suffered under the Empire's rule heard stories of Earth's unyielding spirit and remarkable victories against overwhelming odds. To question the Empire's invincibility, some started organizing their own uprisings, emboldened by the idea that even the mightiest empire could be challenged. The Empire's once unshakable control began to show cracks. Within Earth's skies, and on its surface, the human defenders were no longer seen as mere rebels or nuisances. The planet's struggle inspired songs, stories, and messages of hope that spread through the galaxy's hidden networks. Each victory, no matter how small, became a rallying point for those dreaming of liberation. Even among the Empire's soldiers, doubt began to creep in, and he whispered about Earth's unexpected strength and the human capacity to fight back with relentless courage. Some commanders feared that continuing to send more troops and machines without a clear plan could lead to disaster. The humans' determination and willingness to sacrifice everything for their home had changed the nature of the war. It was no longer a simple battle for conquest. It was a fight for survival and freedom that challenged the Empire's very foundations. Yet despite their efforts, the Empire failed to adapt quickly enough. Their rigid command structure and belief in overwhelming technology made them slow to react to the humans' creativity and flexibility. With every defeat, Earth's defenders showed that power was not only about machines or numbers, but about heart, hope, and the refusal to surrender. That the Empire's days of easy domination might be coming to an end. The battle for Earth had transformed into something much greater. Desperation gripped the Imperial command. Their forces were stretched thin across Earth, and the surrounding space. Determined to end the conflict once and for all, the Empire launched its final, massive assault. This operation was unlike anything before. Fleets of warships darkened the skies above Earth, thousands of elite soldiers poured down from orbit. The Empire was determined to crush Earth's defenders and snuff out the last flicker of rebellion. Instead, they faced a humanity united like never before, battle-hardened, experienced, and fueled by the countless sacrifices of those who had fallen and those still standing. From the largest cities to the smallest villages, humans had prepared. For this moment, every soldier, every civilian who could hold a weapon was ready to defend their home. The battle that followed was fierce and unrelenting, stretching across land, sea, and sky. The Empire unleashed all their power, raining destruction with orbital strikes and heavy artillery. But the humans held their ground with courage and creativity. Where massive machines advanced, small squads used their knowledge of the terrain to set traps and cut off supply routes. The roar of gunfire mixed with explosions. The clash of metal against metal echoed across the war-torn landscapes, but human determination never wavered. Brave fighters charged forward despite overwhelming odds, using everything they had learned. Over years of conflict, their energy weapons, combined with classic firearms and makeshift tools, acts of heroism and sacrifice were common soldiers risking everything to save comrades, civilians stepping up to protect their homes, when commanders adapting in real time to the shifting tides of battle. The humans' unity became their greatest strength, a wall of spirit that no machine could break. The Empire's war machines, once feared and unstoppable, fell to human ingenuity and persistence. Key targets were destroyed, communication lines severed, and Imperial forces found themselves isolated and vulnerable. The soldiers who had expected an easy victory were now retreating under pressure they had not anticipated. The once confident invaders withdrew, their ranks broken, and their spirits dampened. The humans had not only defended their planet, but had also shattered the Empire's myth of invincibility. This victory was more than a military success, it was a powerful message to the galaxy. Even the mightiest empires could fall when faced with courage and unity. Earth, once mocked and dismissed, now stood as a beacon of hope and resilience. The stories of Earth's defenders inspired countless rebellions and uprisings against the Empire's rule. For humanity, the war was far from over, but the new dawn that followed this last stand promised a future where the Empire's retreat was a turning point, a reminder that no matter how advanced a foe might seem, it was the strength of heart and will that could truly turn the tide of history. Earth had risen from being a joke to becoming a symbol of unbreakable hope, a living testament that courage, unity, and the refusal to surrender could reshape the galaxy forever.